Hi everyone, this is Stephanie with Hightower Stitching with a short video today of my latest project, and I'd like to share it with you because it was a challenge, and I really was almost kept up at night thinking about how I was going to get this put together. And what it was a t-shirt quilt for a nephew who just reached Eagle Scout, and this is really big. I'm learning that. My grandsons work on scout badges and things too, but I didn't know where they really would get to. And so I was presented with a bag of t-shirts, different sizes, different colors, and also almost 30 badges that we wanted to incorporate into this quilt. And I knew that the colors were khaki and olive green. And then I also knew that red, white, and blue was one of the things that the Scouts honor also. So I started with, these are samples of the little shirts and the big shirts, but I want to tell you, the first challenge was there were only 7 t-shirts. 7. And about 26 badges to decide what I was going to do with. Well, and in the past, they had already taken a bunch of the badges and that was made into shadow box. So I didn't have that many more, but I had that. I want to share with you what I finally ended up with. And here's the finished quilt. Excuse me. I was able to incorporate the 7 shirts that I had and the badges I had. But what sort of kept me awake, besides it was such a challenge, but this is a family member. This is for a family member, and it was an important piece of their history. So I really wanted to get it right. When I started out, I just cut my shirts and I laid them out on the floor, and that's just my initial start to see how I'd like those. And we weren't sure what this was going to be exactly size-wise, so I started playing with 2 different kinds of khaki and putting them in between for sashing. And when I took a picture of it, I said, oh, this does not look good. So I pulled all that sashing out that I was looking at, and I pulled the blocks together. And I said, oh my gosh, I've got this unit, and I really like it. The 4 patch in the very middle, which is 6 now, the blues and browns was an important unit in there because that was more related to him as an older person, a child, and that was important. And I had it down in the corner, and I said, I'm going to put it right smack in the middle because that's where he is now, in his leadership experiences and things. And the other one that was so important was down in the left-hand corner is a wood print, a print on the t-shirt that was made when he was smaller, and it was one of the favorite shirts that he liked. And then you can look and you can see once I got the shirts like I liked them and started putting them together, then I started looking for places for the patches, because initially we had thought, well, the patches would go into some of that sashing in the middle. Well, the sashing was gone, so I had to come back up with something else. And there was one more very neat shirt that had to be in there and had to be done just right. If you look at the second row, the orange one, they had Scout Day at Daytona, and he got to go to that. And he had one of the teams, and they signed his shirt. All of them did, so I couldn't be cutting anything out. So that was really fun too. And then I got ready and I said, okay, now I want to do my outside border. And I said, well, I found that the 2 light khakis did not work. And so I went and I looked and I found a yard of this color that you see, and it just brought it all together. And now you guys know how much I love free motion quilting. I like it as much as I do my hand stitching. And so I got started And I ended up with bubble patterns and then the rocks in the middle. And then I found that I could put the patches on the shirts with a zipper foot. And that really made it easier to do. And then there are some on the back that I hand stitched. But the next thing was to make a beautiful border. And if you look, I think I have something that's got a little Indian look to it. I had made it in my book, my pattern books, and I said, okay, I'm going to try that. Well, I worked for about an hour, and I finally got a paper pattern that I liked. And then I turned it into a template, a plastic template. But what's so interesting about it was how much movement it took. It took my arms out because I had to go from there, up, back, 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 back. And each one of those took me turning my quilt. And I actually used the walking foot. And so it turned out really neat. I'll show you the back. And finally, here is the back. And here's where I put this Scout Oath on the very back. That was given to me on a thank you card. And I thought, that is just great. It goes with it. And there are 2 patches. And these 2 patches, I was able to actually hand sew those down. Some of them, like that big black ones on the front, my needle wouldn't go through those, but these worked beautifully. And then, of course, I put a label on there because my sister-in-law and I both worked on the quilt to get it where it is. This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. I hope you enjoyed that little journey on a challenging quilt that had to be done just right. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, please subscribe and hit like, and have a great day.